A police manhunt for the suspect in the London chemical attack is underway. It comes after it was revealed that 35-year-old Abdul Azidi was convicted of a sexual offence back in 2019. Sources say he was refused asylum twice before being granted leave to remain 2 years ago.
Now, the Met Police have warned the public to stay away after the attacker injured 12 people, including 5 police officers and, of course, 2 young children.
He was last seen on the Caledonian Road in South London.
With what they're saying is a very noticeable injury to this side of his face.
Yes, it's in a lot of the papers this morning. What that is, I don't know. Let's talk to former Scotland Yard detective Peter Bleksley, who's here in the studio. Peter, good to see you. I mean, look, we sort of suspected they had their eye on someone yesterday. Is it just a matter of time for the police till they get this suspect now?
Well, hopefully that amount of time won't be too long, because it's getting on for 36 hours now or thereabouts since the attack took place. There are, of course, huge concerns about this man being at large. The public have been warned very, very clearly. Do not approach this man. Simply dial 999 if you see him. Of course, the events of Wednesday night would appear to be very serious. That would indicate just how dangerous this man possibly could be. And whilst I'm no medic, this wound to the right-hand side of his face looks to be considerable.
It does, doesn't it?
Well, do you think it is? I mean, is there any chance that's just a faulty camera?
Well, the police did say before the release of the image that he was going to have a significant injury to the right-hand side of his face.
No, I mean, if it is as bad as it looks, and that for those of you listening on the radio, I mean, it really does look as though a huge injury, particularly to the right eye and the lower cheek. He's going to have to seek medical assistance somewhere along the line.
Absolutely, and I would think that infection must be a very real possibility, so this man's health could tumble pretty quickly, I would imagine. But either way, with contacts in Northumbria, the Newcastle area, the possibility that he's used public transport, because British Transport Police are also now being called upon to assist in the hunt for this man. This is a bit of a race against time before potentially anybody else gets hurt, or before he's able to go so deep underground, so to speak, that it would be even more difficult to find him. But the police have called upon the public's help here by publishing the photograph, and I suspect, as is so often the case, it will be the great British public that provide the information that sees this man put in handcuffs.
Of course, what we're not getting at the moment is any updates on the victims, particularly on this.
Life-changing injuries.
The focus is on him, which is understandable at the moment. But yeah, I mean, talking life-changing injuries for the mother and the youngest daughter.
Yes, I mean, ghastly set of circumstances here, and there were some CCTV images released yesterday that are pretty unclear but give a sense of the horrors of what unfolded. And we heard so many witness testimonies yesterday from people that courageously went to try and help, which really in this day and age is heartwarming. And I know that some of them did suffer injuries, but it would appear that the Good Samaritans, none of them were severely injured, so for that we need to be grateful.
But there seems to be a catalogue of really terrible mistakes leading up to this incident that we know very little about at the moment. What we're gleaning at the moment is that the man they're looking for was an asylum seeker. He came into Britain under a lorry in something like 2018, I think it was. He was turned down for asylum the first time, but he stayed and applied for asylum again about a year later and was turned down again, and yet for some reason managed to stay again, committed a sex offence, and then at his third application for asylum, he was granted asylum. I mean, you couldn't write it, you couldn't make it up.
Turned down twice and not deported. I'm not going to sugarcoat this at all. If anybody wants to appreciate the horrors that we have imported into this country, courtesy of governments, courtesy of the Home Office, courtesy of failings of the Border Force, just how much criminal vermin we have imported into this country, then go onto the internet and simply search asylum seeker convicted. There are a litany of cases of people committing the most serious crimes.
Why would we give asylum to somebody who has been convicted?
Well,
of anything.
Well, why not deport the person the moment they are convicted of a sex offence, which this man has been convicted? Just how much or how many dangerous, undocumented people are in this country that we, quite frankly, know nothing about? It is scandalous. There have been repeated failings, and I'm afraid as a result, we are all a bit less safe.
OK.